so often. One is never ever allowed to leave their nurse in a crowd. But this was Jim's special foible, to run away when he was oible. And on this inauspicious day, he slipped his hand and ran away. He hadn't gone a yard when, bang! With open jaws the lion sprang, and hungrily began to eat the boy, beginning at his feet. Now just imagine how it feels, when first your toes and then your heels, and then by gradual degrees, your shins and ankles, calves and knees, are slowly eaten bit by bit. No wonder Jim detested it. No wonder that he shouted, "Hi!" The honest keeper heard his cry, and though fat, he almost ran to help the little gentleman. Ponto, he cried as he came, for Ponto was the lion's name. Ponto, he cried with angry frown, down, sir, put it down." The lion let the dainty morsel drop and made a very, very sudden stop, and snarling with reluctant rage, slunk reluctantly to his cage. As he bent him over Jim, the honest keeper's eyes grew dim, for the lion, having reached his head, the miserable boy was dead. His mother, as she dried her eyes, said, "It really gives me no surprise. He would never do as he was told." His father, who was self-controlled, bade all the children round a bend and informed them of James's miserable end. The moral is, you should never, ever, ever leave your nurse for fear of finding something worse. So we have it, the story of one of life's tales. And the lesson is yet to come. But I have this time the Professor Roberto to talk to you on the evils of the illicit weed. A round of applause.
We can put a mic on if you wish.
Microphones around to the...
Yes. This one. Whoop. Oh, look out. Look out. Here you go.
He is very learned. He has much wisdom.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. Ladies and so to speak, gentlemen. Ladies and so to speak, gentlemen, it was suggested to my wife that I give a public lecture here for charity. Well, if I must, I must. It's all the same to me. I'm not a professor. I never finished the university, and yet, nevertheless, over the past 30 years, I've been ruining my health by constant and systematic examination of matters of scientific nature. I am a man of intellectual curiosity, and at times I write essays on scientific matters. Well, not exactly scientific, but approximately scientific. Just another day, I finished a massive article entitled "On the Harmfulness of Certain Insects." My daughters, they love it immensely, especially the part about bed bugs. Yes, we have bed bugs even in our grand piano. But for the subject of my lecture today, I'll be taking, so to speak, the harm done mankind by the use of tobacco. I myself smoke, but my wife told me to lecture on the harmfulness of tobacco, so if I must, I must. It's all the same to me. But, ladies and gentlemen, I urge you to take my lecture with all due seriousness, or something awful may happen. If any of you are afraid of a dry scientific lecture, some of you cannot stomach that sort of thing, you don't need to listen.
Pointed at
You may leave. Are there any doctors present? If so, I insist to take my lecture with all due seriousness and to listen very, very carefully, for my lecture may contain certain useful information. Tobacco, besides being harmful, it contains certain medical properties. For example, if you catch a fly and put it into a snuff box, it will die. Probably for nervous exhaustion. Yes, tobacco, strictly speaking, is a plant. Yes, I know. When I lecture, I blink my right eye. Take no notice, it's simple nervousness. I am a very nervous man. Generally speaking, I started blinking my right eye years ago. To be precise, on September the 13th, when my wife gave birth to our, so to speak, fourth daughter, Barbara. All our daughters were born on the 15th. I'm sorry, I have digressed from the subject, tobacco. But I must tell you that my wife, she runs a boarding school. Well, not exactly a boarding school, but something in the nature of one. And my wife, she likes to complain a lot about difficult times, but she has put away a little nest egg, some $30,000 or $40,000, and for me, not even $1 on my name, not even a penny. But what is the use of dwelling on that? At my wife's school, it's my lot to look after the housekeeping. I buy supplies, I keep an eye on the servants, stitch together the books. I take my wife's little dog for walks, catch mice. Yesterday, it fell to me to give the cook some butter and flour for today's breakfast. And when the pancakes were ready, my wife came to the kitchen and said to me that 3 students wouldn't be eating pancakes as they have swollen glands. So it seems that we have a few too many pancakes, but what to do with them? At first, my wife ordered them to store away. Then she thought a while and said, "No, you eat those pancakes, you scarecrow!" When my wife is out of humor, this is how she calls me. Scarecrow, viper, devil. What sort of devil am I? However, appointments with my wife may be made by any hour. The school prospectus may be had for 30 copies from the porter. I just bought a few with me. If anyone wants to buy some, just $30 in this case. No? Let's make it $20. No? 15? 10? Sorry, what a failure. I have grown old and stupid, and here I am, to all appearances enjoying myself, but I have such an urge to scream to the top of my lungs, to run away. Well, anyway, as long as it's away from that stupid, mean, cheap life that have made me into a fool, a miserable idiot. To run away and just then stop there, far, far away, and stand there like a pole, like a tree, like a scarecrow. under gray the sky and the still bright moon, and simply to forget. How I long to forget. How I long to tear off this coat, this miserable coat that I wore 33 years old ago at my wedding, and I'm still wearing it for lectures, for charity. I'm sorry. I'm poor, shabby, tattered, like the back of this coat. And I'm better than that. I was young once. I went to the university. I thought of myself as a man. And here I am, and I want nothing. Nothing but peace. Oh, my wife is here. Please, I beg you, if my wife asks, tell her that the scarecrow husband, the lecturer, me, has behaved with dignity. Given that tobacco contains that terrible poison which I have had the pleasure of describing to you, tobacco should at all costs be avoided. And let me add my hopes that the observations on the harmfulness of tobacco might have been of some profit to you. And here I conclude in Latin, dixi et anima levavi. I'm going to the